This fella, it's from Howling hops. Never heard of him, to be honest, but that don't mean anything. There's a lot of breweries I've never heard of. This is called Freedom Vortex. It's a West Coast India Pale Ale with Citra Centennial Columbus hops, 7.2%. So, let's start to give it a pour. It's actually starting to warm up in the beer room now. 15 minutes in, starting to get some warmth. Oh, you can't beat a Sunday evening review. Not really thinking about work tomorrow. Although these days it doesn't really bother me, work now. It's good. So yeah, hazy pour, hazy amber pour, inch head. Very, very hoppy nose. Wow, strong hoppy nose. Reminds me of Stone's go-to IPA in the nose. Really strong. Bloody hell, that's a pine fest, that is. Really strong pine beer. This was bought in a surprise beer haul for the channel for me from Low Cost Beer, you know, and I'm so pleased about that because, you know, it was a very kind thing to do. And it's got some balls on it, I'll say that about it. Good evening. Oh, wow. That's potent. That is hoppy in the sense of things. Wow. Hoppy, piney. Oh, good evening. Oh, that reminds me of Stone's go-to IPA. It is, well, there you can't see the bloody name of the can. Good evening. I've never had any Howling hops before. No, it's a new one for me. I'm on about 150 with the playlist now. Oh, it's actually interesting going through the old 7.2%. Yeah. Good evening. Nice hazy pour, very strong in your face hops, very strong, very piney. It's got it says on the back here Citra, Centennial and Columbus hops, but yeah, really, really piney. Ooh, and it's chilly and all in here. No snow in Nottingham, thankfully. Yay, we don't want any of it, although it chucked it down last night. Yeah, it chucked it down last night, but the wind's dried it all out, so that's nice. But yeah, really strong. Yeah, the flavours, woof. Oh, I don't want any snow. Can't stand the stuff. I need to go and get my coat out of the car and warm it up in the house before I go to work tomorrow morning. Get my full-on winter gear back on. I ain't tried to yet. I was going to give it till tomorrow, and then I'll cancel it. I'll have to probably message a couple of people and see how you cancel it. You know, I'm not phoning up because I can't stand phones. I'm at the Arnold site tomorrow, so the one that's close to home, which is good. If it's going to snow, I'd rather be close to home than 15 mile away. That one's only a couple of miles away. It takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to get there, so it's not far. 2 or 3 miles at the most. And if need, I'll get a 5 on. No, definitely don't want to get stuck. I won't get stuck because the farmers will grip the roads leading onto the main road, and we never get it that bad. And to be honest, I know how to drive in snow. Good evening. How was you last night? Did you have your 6 pints? Oh, wow, that is intense. Bless you. Off tomorrow. Oh. There's no point in me having any days off at the moment. If I'm doing a 4-day week, I'm getting a day off every week, as it is. Yeah, we've had a couple of little spots of snow, but that's it. I think I have. I've had one of the breakfast stouts. I think I have, you know. And the rest, bless you. Oh, lovely. Putting money back in them pubs' coffers. You know, can't fault you really. And you're enjoying it as well. 1-day week. Jesus. I think for my job, it'd be too dangerous to go too. I need to probably stay on a 4-day week, really. We've got a full-on decorating program coming up soon, but hello. Oh, so if anybody's had the Stones Go To IPA before, this is very similar to that. Very, very hop and piney intensive. Good evening. You really feel it. Smiling Grape, aka low cost beer, I think the Barraca Clava's nearly finished. They're nearly out of it, but they've got another Brew York beer coming in. Yeah, it always depends with painting, doesn't it? You know, we used some cheap paint once, and it took 7 coats of paint to get this bloody pink off the walls. 7 coats. You know, in the end, you're like losing the will to live. Good evening. Oh. I came across a Welsh brewery earlier called Cernus Abbas or something along them lines. Good evening. Are you watching the Super Bowl? Can't watch that stuff. I find American football so boring. Then again, I find English rugby so boring as well. And cricket, don't get me started. It's just like watching paint dry. I don't mind football, especially if Forest are winning. It's not so bad. We won yesterday, apparently. So that was good. Makes a change. Change is as good as the rest. Yeah, I seen a Welsh brewery earlier called, I think it came up on Facebook. I'm sure it's Welsh anyway. Cernus Abbas. And for 30 quid, you get free delivery, 11 beers, 3 of them are reserves, all mixed, and a glass, 30 quid. Dorset. Yeah. I thought it was Welsh. But yeah, it's an interesting deal. One near me, Bang the Elephant, based in Langley Mill. They brought out 2 barrel-aged beers last night, both about 8 quid each. One was a barrel-aged Tennessee whiskey beer, and then there was another one as well that I can't remember what it was. Imperial IPA. Oh, bless you. Can't beat it in the decent stuff, can you? That's why I got this out. I thought, well, I'll have a nice 7%. So I've just reviewed one beer. That was really, really good. I'll have to go and if it comes up again on Facebook, I'll have to have a nosy later and try and remember the name of it again. I bet it's one of these where you see it once and then you don't see it again. Although on Facebook, it seems that people who annoy me, friends, I see their posts and I keep seeing their posts, but the ones you want to see, you never see them. Good evening. Oh, we're not a Liverpool fan then. They had a good season last year, to be fair. I mean, they had a world-class season. You can't fault that season. But this season, it needed to be a bit less one way. You need, in any competition, you want it so that it comes down to, like when Man City won it on the last day of the season, Aguero. I mean, that was some game. Well, you see, being a Forest fan, Hillsborough happened because obviously, you know, too many fans getting in. And we would have won, I reckon we'd have won the FA Cup that year, but we just gave it away in the semi-final. Stella wife beats her. I do that a lot with people. You know, the people that annoy you, but you're still friends with. Just click the old snooze button, that's it. Job's good, and see you in a month. Especially if, I mean, I've got one friend who just posts pictures of the dinner. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you posting your dinner on pardon my French, why are you posting your dinner on Facebook to 1,000 friends? And then the same person used to change her profile picture every other day. And it's like, God's sakes. I think all the big clubs should pass money to the small. I think the footballers should do it as well. Been on it since 2:45, I won't get away with it. carry us in the Champions League final. That was disgusting, wasn't it? I watched that, and you're like, I mean, I'm not a Liverpool fan. You watch him and you think, you clown, you know. No wonder they got rid. Man United seem to be rejuvenated with that Bruno Fernandes. He is a good player. Yeah, I can't be done with it. I mean, I don't even post anything about beer on my personal now. I keep it all to the channel. So people will probably think I don't drink anymore. Unless they look at the channel and think, God, he's a pisshead. And then I look at all the... Nowadays, I'm getting everybody else's beer reviews coming up in my feed. And I'm realising just how many beer reviews people do. And I thought I was overdoing it. But yeah, very easy drinking. Strong, very strong hop at the start. Very strong pine at the start. But now I'm getting used to it. It's going down the street. I don't mind it at all. Oh. I'm hoping the weather warms up though. We've had enough of this cold stuff now. We need to start getting spring-like again. I mean, usually in the winter you get some days where it's like 15 degrees. I mean, we haven't had a really decent day like that for a long time. I think December was the last time we had a really good day. We had a couple of mild days this last week, but oh dear. Yeah, so low cost, another Brew York beer. That's interesting. You know, obviously Brew York have got a good thing going with it. Yeah, it's very strong flavour. You know you're drinking it. Yeah, daffodils, snowdrops were already out. Daffodils have emerged about that much. Even the bluebells are popping through now, so it's all coming through. I've got about 40 packets of vegetable seeds to put in. So I'm going to be growing some stuff this year. Some for the hotel and then some for myself using their space. Job's a good one. I don't mind growing them. I don't want to grow them in my own garden. You know, really, now's a good time for putting grass seed down. You can mix it with a bit of topsoil, really mix it, put twice as much as you need down because the birds will eat half of it. Put it down, and as soon as it starts to warm, it will germinate. Rake it into the soil, brush it in, get it all nice, and then once you've brushed it in and mixed it with the sand and brushed it in, sprinkle it over the top and then just give it a rake as well. And use weed and feed. Kill them bloody weeds off. Anyway, back to the beer. I always call it the beer room, funnily enough. So for me, I've always called it the beer room. It's like a, you know, I mean, other people call them man caves. I can't stand that word, man cave. I mean, it technically is a man cave. Raggy's tap room. Yeah, it could do, couldn't I? I might have to get a sign, you know. Has this skin gone yellow? Oh, yeah. That is strong, good, intense flavour on that. And it's not disappearing all the way down either. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I've got some work to do in here. I'm going to hopefully get rid of some of the wife's stuff and you know, make it more my room than her stuff in here. If I could put it in the hot tub room and get rid of it, I would. But the hot tub room's not sealed like this. Is sealed in there. You can't. There's no damp in here, even though it's quite cold. There's no damp getting through because of the insulation layer. Raggy's tap room does sound interesting, doesn't it? I might get a sign made. Yeah. I mean, I reviewed that lager I made last year earlier, and I've never been that great with lagers with making them, and it's turned out really bloody well. I mean, it smoked disgusting halfway through, but when I put the hops in, it kind of killed that aroma, and it turned out lovely in the end. Funny, isn't it? You know, with brews, They smell disgusting, and it actually turns out decent. I've had a ginger beer that smelt like bad eggs, and I thought this is never going to be nice. And at the end of it, it actually came to be a nice, ginger beer in the end. Oh. Good evening. So for a 7.2%, not quite getting that ABV, but obviously it's never easy to tell all the ABVs at time. It's giving me an headache, I know that though. I can feel it, I can feel the intense flavours going to the head here. Good evening. Good strong beer from Howling hops. Good aroma. Good hoppy aroma, piney taste in the extreme as well. Oh dear. So yeah, I've got to get some pallets from one of my workplaces and start getting a load more pallet pieces and start building this wall around and encase this whole area. At some stage, I'm just going to have a pallet walls all the way around the shed with beer and glasses on. But it's a good hobby, isn't it? You can't beat a decent hobby. Oh, it is cold tonight. That wind's proper chilled it down. I mean, I'm glad the rain's gone, but let's hope the snow doesn't take hold. We don't want none of that stuff. Good evening. Yeah, Sainsbury's have a good range, really. You know, the taste of difference. When I worked, I always said to the managers, I says, why don't you get? Because obviously you can control the price of the taste of different stuff. Get it at a pound, put it at the front of the store. You'll sell pallets of the stuff, and because they get it cheap as chips from the breweries, like St. Peter's, Marston, Shepherd Neame, and a few others make their taste of difference stuff. I mean, the Shepherd Neame is the easiest one to spot because of the bottle. But yeah, I was always surprised that now they've actually got a 6-pack now of mixed taste difference cans. So and I need to go into Sainsbury's because apparently there's some new craft beers gone on. So I need to have a look. Winebacker's getting dropped. I think we're getting to that time of the year when we're going to see some changes. If you think about it, they're going to do some range reviews soon. Asda's desperate. Asda, bloody hell, their range is ridiculously rubbish. It's not changed now. They've had one or two newbies, but the general range has been crap for a while. Sometimes it's not just the fact that it don't sell well, you know. It's just the fact that they pick out something to get rid of, or they fell out with somebody, the maker of it, and they drop it. I mean, we've had beers over the years and wines that at Sainsbury's that sold massively, and then all of a sudden they've been dropped. Morrison's is at the moment. Morrison's is the clear favourite. Marston's do a lot of contract brewing, don't they? I suppose they've got the capacity to do that. That's why in this they're not really struggled that much. I mean, all their bottled stuff, you know, all the companies that have got beers in bottles in supermarkets. I mean, they've been out a little bit, but not as much as all those that have got brewers and got bottles in supermarkets. Oh, I was told that there was new beers in Sainsbury's. Yeah, my mate who actually works at Sainsbury's, in his local Sainsbury's where he works now, he said there was none, but somebody else said there was quite a few. Out of lockdown, 2 pubs in Arnold, a Blue Monkey pub and a Lincoln Green, although I might even go to the Castle Rock pub at Mapley Top, which is up about a mile away from me. I'm not going to Wetherspoons because they treated their customers like their staff like shit. Now I can't stand anybody who treats people like, you know, treat people as you want to be treated. That should be the way. Oh, that's a potent little fella, that is. I mean, I noticed it's Raggy's Tap Room, yeah. Elsimo, oh yeah, Elsimo's top class beer. I mean, for me, when I go around the country, I love going in the local supermarkets because there's always beers in there that you've never seen before. So when I go to theme parks, the first thing I do is go in the supermarkets. Dia Brewing, they do a lot of beers. They do. They're on my Facebook feed. We've got a little microbrewery up the road, little micro pub up the road from us, and might step in there and have a few beers. But only if you can get rid of this bloody yeah, it's the little brewers that are struggling more than anybody into, you know. Oh, take my time over that. Really nice. Kirkstall Brewery. I've got a couple of theirs. Virtuous and oh no, yeah, I've got Virtuous from Kirkstall. 50p for that can. In Morrison's, one of their, it must be a pack that broke. Although it has got a thing on it, so God knows why they put it as 50p. Yeah, usually multi-packs, with multi-packs, we have to reduce them down and sell them singly. But that's got a thing on. Ooh. Good evening. Vocation. They're going to cost you a fortune, aren't they? They really are coming out with some good beers. I was very, very tempted to check out the... it's just popped up. Yeah, that's late, isn't it? 23 minutes in notifications. YouTube needs sacking. Yeah, Vocation. I mean, I've got that cherry one, and that nearly was reviewed tonight because I think canned beer's got a lot better over the years. Back in 2015, cans were really, really dying. Then when I left Sainsbury's, all of a sudden, oh. I mean, for me, pale ales are one of my least favourites. Pales and Goldens are, but then there's always the odd one that is absolutely amazing. You know, with all beer types, there's always that one that just breaks the boundaries. No, I've got a load of Vocation stuff to drink. The cognac cherry one, the Imperial Cherry Stout, the Kirsch one. That's I've got to drink that this week. I don't think I can hold on to it much longer, even though that would be 2 Vocation breweries in a week. But you know, sometimes you need to scratch the itch, and it's an 11% beer sitting on the floor, and it really needs to come on the shelf. No, that's not it. Got that many boxes in here. Got to be in one of these. Good evening. Bread and butter. Never had that before. Dry hop pale as well. Perfect Storm. No, that's not it. Good evening, Mr. Dean. Wow, we've got royalty in. Yes, I do love your beer, your wall with your glasses on. Brilliant wall. I've got to do some DIY myself soon. Yeah, Vocation, bloody brilliant brewer. I mean, that banoffee pie, that was absolutely gobsmackingly good. You know, there's not many beers you drink and then all of a sudden you've got a daft smile on your face and you're in love straight away with the beer. And it was immense. Can't wait for the cherry beer as well to review that. Take me time reviewing it as well. Might have to be a non-live review. Tesco's. My Tesco's have dropped off their craft beers, which is a very worrying development. And half the aisle's been took up with pop, and that we don't want to see. We don't want the pop encroaching on the beer aisle. Get it back on its own aisle. So for those who've come late, what a cracker of a beer. Very, very strong hops. Yeah, the Vocation prices, £6 or £5 for an 11% is outstanding. You know, for somebody who buys their own beers, that's the sort of price I want to be paying. I don't want to be paying any more than that. Yeah, the banoffee one, bloody hell, you'll love it. So this, super strong, hoppy aroma, piney taste in the extreme. Very easy drinking though. Flipping good flavour all the way through. Really nice. And I'll take my time drinking it. I mean, I've got that Red Church box as well with all their beers in, and for a cheap box for £20, and if you're clever, you sign up for the email first, get the £5 off, then go to if it's your first time, or you just use a different account, you know, you can be crafty, and then you'll get the box. I think it's the starter pack is £20. Was that 12 bottles or 10 bottles plus a glass? And so you can get it down to £15 and you get free delivery. Flipping heck, that's a cracker of a price. And there's some very different styles amongst them. Yeah, that was a good one, that was. Oh, work tomorrow. Hey, let's hope the snow keeps away. If we don't any of that shit. So certainly not losing any of its strength. It does remind me of Stone's Go-To IPA. About the Red Church. Yeah, Red Church Brewery. Their deal at the moment. I mean, I'm looking around at all the deals, because if you get somewhere you get a good deal, and especially if it's mixed, you know, because obviously if you're reviewing, I don't want to buy a case of anything. Can't afford to. I want to buy one of each. So anywhere that's got a good mixed deal on with a glass as well, so they don't have to drive, you know, you've got a glass to go with it. You're laughing. I mean, Vocation, I actually paid the £40 there, but there were two absolute box ticking beers, and I got the glass as well. In fact, I've got about 150 glasses, if truth's known. I've given loads away over the years, because when I worked for Sainsbury's, we used to wait until the glasses would be a free. With, say you bought Jack Daniels, you get a glass for free. Then we used to take them off, because it was like a special plinth. We took them off the plinth, put them in the back, and then we'd wait, as you do, for them to go down. And all of a sudden, £1 a glass. It's like, yes, get in. We can go home with about 20 glasses. So I've given away so many glasses over the years. And then you look in shops and they're £5 each, and you think, shit, I won't pay a £5 for a glass. Yeah, I don't want the snow. I don't really want the rain, really. I've chosen a warm job tomorrow. Good evening. Yeah, I've got a warm job tomorrow. I'm either going to do a load of burning, or I'm going to do a load of, heavy, intensive work just to keep warm. It's been a long winter, a long, cold winter for being outside. You know, there's times when I miss being in the supermarket. Although when you get some dickhead come up to you on the booze aisle asking for milk, you're like, down there. It's where the fridges are, mate. Yeah. And then you come on, you see the people picking up the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini in the basic cider, and you think, yes, you've got a problem. And you can tell them a mile off. But there's a lot of people who used to drink a lot more than us. Somebody said that earlier as well about loads of new beers in Sainsbury's. I think it depends on the Sainsbury's, you know. Yeah, milk stout. The only downer with Sainsbury's is these days, you know, they've got no flipping deals on. So all their beer is quite expensive compared to, I mean, only Marks and Spencer's and Waitrose are higher priced. But I'll have to have a nosy in, see what's cracking. Go and spend some cash. Might have to message one of my workmates and get her to take a load of photos for me so I know what's in. And or get somebody on the night shift and say, take some photos, will you, and send them me? Yes, might have to do that. That's the only good thing about having mates in there. Lamborghini. My mum used to drink Lamborghini, and she went for a period where she was getting up in the morning straight on the Lamborghini. And the doctor said to her that that's the worst stuff you could drink. You know, it's got all the worst chemicals and all that in it. Whether it has or not, I have no idea. Never drank it. But one of these days I'll have to do a Lamborghini review just for the crack. And then I'll look at Carlsberg Special Brew. And if I can get it in a single can, I'll review it. But I'm not paying £8 for 4 cans. Because 3 of them I'll probably never drink. It's certainly cold in Nottingham. Pomaine. Yeah, there's some stuff. I mean, I remember as a teenager drinking Thunderbird, and I was so ill. Never ever will I touch that stuff in my life. I think there was a Thunderbird Blue and a Thunderbird Red. Or was it Concord? I don't know. So both them names ring a bell. And I was about 16 or 17 at the time, and absolutely steaming, sick up the wall. I need to find some Polish shops, I do. Oh, I'd review Gold Label. Yeah, I'd review that. Again, you know what makes you laugh? If 10 years ago, I mean, I've had a camcorder for well over 10 years. If 10 years ago I'd have thought about doing beer reviews, when I worked at Sainsbury's, I could have got my beers for a fraction of the price. I mean, I'm not saying we put our hands, I mean, the amount of damaged cases that come in was brilliant, you know. I mean, at one stage, I had that much beer in my house, more than I've got in the shed now. You know, it used to be underneath all the cupboards. I used to pull down the, you know, the plinths. I used to pull the plinths down and shove the bottles under the plinths, just because I bought, you know, it was so cheap. Like bottles of beer for 25 pence. And I'm talking, you know, like full-size bottles of beer rather than just like multi-pack bottles. And, you know, like with stuff that never used to come into the shop. And they used to say, oh, sell it for 25 pence a bottle, it's not ours. And yeah, flipping heck. And yet now I can't get hold of any of that. And my workmates aren't as, shall we say, forthcoming as they used to be. Yeah. I mean, when I used to sort out, working on the booze department, I used to sort out all the reductions. So you'd always have somebody who said, oh, can you sort me out some Peroni? Sort me out some Corona. I mean, Corona. I mean, no one wants to drink the stuff these days. But back in the day, fucking hell, I could have had shed loads of the stuff. And now when you want to review, and Gold Label, we always used to have someone come in and nick 1 can of Gold Label. So we used to, and same for Special Brew, it always used to be 1 can. Why didn't it nick the whole lot? And we used to have to reduce the other 3 down, but we used to have to separate them and reduce them down that way. So instead of it being, I don't know, what was it then, probably about $6.50 a 4-pack, we used to reduce it down to something daft like 50 pence a can. And you can imagine, they went very quickly. I mean, at one stage, it was like 25% off the price. I mean, sometimes, if you look at, if you go into supermarkets these days, Morrison's are the best still. But some of the supermarkets, they reduce their stock down. So there's one can missing. So say it's £4. They reduce it down to £3.30, and you're thinking, how the fuck would anybody buy that? When it's not even cheaper per can than buying the full price, you know. And you think, so is someone not, you know, doing their maths correctly? But yeah, some of the bargains, oh dear. It's about the only thing that would get me back into a supermarket working. Although the late night Friday nights and Saturday nights in the supermarket with no life, you know, that wasn't so good. But at least it was warm, I suppose. And then you get some little idiot coming around telling you what to do. So, oh, come just the aisle. And you're working your arse off, and this twat's walking around doing though. And you think, oh great, yeah, I'll do all the work, you just keep walking around. But a lot of good staff at Sainsbury's. And the reductions, the bargains you used to get, unbelievable. Especially if you were good on the computers, like I was, and looked for what was going down in price, because you could tell what was going down in price a few days before. And you know, I mean, I went out of a full shopping trolley full of food one day for £16, and it was all stuff that had been reduced to minimum price. What it was, the supermarket didn't realise it had it, so they reduce it down because they think it's not there. So something that was a £5 was reduced to £1. I mean, I've had turkeys reduced from £35 down to £1, and then I got my discount on as well. Got it for 90p a turkey. Yeah, I felt like I was stealing them when I was walking out with them. 3 turkeys. I felt ever so bad. Bernard Matthews, though, dry as hell. Yeah, never again would I touch Bernard Matthews. Never. Put the live chat back on. Oh, do you know, I didn't even realise all these people were talking. Fucking hell. Good evening, Mr. Blue Nose. I didn't even know you were there. I've been rattling away, and oh, there we go. That's it. I had the gold label. Yep, I've seen that. Colt 45. No, I don't remember that. That's before my time. My dad liked the barley wine, to be fair. He used to hit the barley wine massively back in the day. Although I can't really talk too much these days. I drink too much. 29p a can for Carlsberg Nordic. Ooh. Bath night, eh? Job's a good one. Kestrel, there's another one I haven't reviewed. There's so many that I want to put on the Yoda review list. I'll get there one day with a lot of these super strength, you know, beers. I'll need to find a shop that sells them singular. I'm not paying silly prices. I mean, you don't mind paying a bit extra per can if you can get it singly, but paying for a 4-pack when you don't need it. I mean, I did that at Aldi the other day. I got some Galahad, some Carista, and some Denveld or whatever it's supposed to be. Good evening. Which vocation? The Banoffee or the cherry? Oh. So let me give this a score before I... 5 degrees in Moscow, warmer than here. For fig steak, it's cold. I thought that was vocation. You know, you've got to admire them. They are coming out with some lovely beers. Like I say, Bang the Elephant near me in Langley Mill, they're coming out with some nice beers as well. And you look around the country and there's so many breweries bringing out so many beers. And then you look at the big breweries, Richwood, they've half their range. Marston's done, they've not brought nothing out new. Green King, a lot of their good beers have disappeared. Waffle and Banoffee one. There's a waffle one as well. Bloody hell. Might need to do another beer order. Once February comes, I'll be back into gardening. I'll probably have 3 or 4 gardens to look after at the weekend. So I'll be back into the Oh, blueberry waffle. Or is that blueberry waffle? Yeah, that sounds nice as well, doesn't it? I want someone to make a butterscotch imperial. That's what I want. Nice butterscotch imperial stout. And then sell it at Harry Potter World in Universal. Hey, you get all these people pissed up going on rides. Sad. Although I'll not be going back to America for a year or two. Not until this COVID's gone and done one. And if I can afford it, obviously, as well. But I mean, I'm hoping that 12 million people vaccinated today. Hopefully. I mean, this idea of opening the pubs without beer is just a bit of a silly move. Open the pubs, have the beer gardens, have a beer outside, soft drinks inside. That fair dues then. You know, it might be a bit chilly outside, but at least you can have a bloody beer. There's plenty of good beer gardens. Get some heaters on. Get the bonfires going. I'll be doing that tomorrow if I get cold. I know where the chef puts a little thing to do the steaks. Oh, Wales beat Ireland, eh? Oh. As long as we beat the French and the Italians, that's what really matters, doesn't it? We don't want to lose to them. Yeah, I suppose that's the only problem, isn't it? Hey, it don't take long to break the seal when it's this cold. You know, pissing every 5 minutes. I'm deadly. Once the seal's gone, that's it. I've done it. I'm done for. So, at Kelham, where I work, Newark, I'm in the middle of the woods. We've got a woodland. It's 3 acres big. The woodland is. There's nobody at work. I'm the only one there. So I'm stood next to this wheelie bin where I've just tipped the rubbish out. And I thought, fuck it, I'll have a piss. I'm having a piss. Looks round. All of a sudden, there's 2 fucking women about 100 yards away from me. And they'd come round to have a sit down because they'd agreed it with somebody. And I'm thinking, fucking hell. Did they see? So I walked back towards them thinking, did they see me having a piss? But they didn't say anything. But I thought, God, that's great. And then fuck me at the other workplace, Cockcliffe, again, at Arnold in Nottingham. Again there. One day, I thought, I'll just take a piss. There's nobody about. I'm on my own. And all of a sudden, the farmer's walking down the fucking path. I think, Jesus Christ. Good thing I wasn't stroking one off. Then it would have been naughty. But yeah. I don't do that in public, obviously. Or at all. It's going to be dead strange seeing people again when you're working at weddings. I think my job will change slightly then. I'll probably have to help out with some part of the wedding. Hopefully it's lifting the beer barrels. You know, I'm up for that. Testing the beer. Raggy's flashes. Hey, I've worked on the Arboretum, so I've seen a lot of flashes over the years. Getting blokes, because you've got the high school, where the Arboretum is, you've got the high school next door. And you got the high school for girls, so you get blokes going in the woods because we had a big shrubbery next to the high school, and they'd be in the woods. And many times I've caught flasher. I mean, one day, and I was in my 20s at the time, so I was at the peak of my. I was cycling to work. You know, I was super fit. Not like today, Jesus Christ. And we seen this flasher, and me and my mate, and he was fit as hell as well. And we chased him. And, the fear of God must have got into him that much that he got away from us. 2 miles, we chased a little twat. And he disappeared into one of the local estates. And, I've had a bloke in the bushes with a gun. And we chased him. God knows what we was thinking about. Fucking hell, I must have thought it was hard or something. And obviously the police came, quite a big thing over that. The public parks are such great places. Yeah. Oh dear. So Monday tomorrow, back to work, back to the dread. And it's funny, a year ago in my last job, which was a shit job anyway, it'd be about dinner time on a Sunday that I started hitting the beer heavy. thinking, I've got fucking work tomorrow, I can't stand it. And really hitting it, really getting stressed up. Now it's like, well, I'm going to work tomorrow, I'm on my own all day. Yeah, totally different. Go and sow some seed at work. And make lots of coffees and do lots of work. The only problem is there's only so much you can talk to robins, you know. There's so many birds these days, flipping heck. All day long I've got robins, blackbirds, all tweeting around me, and some other birds that I've got no idea what they are. They're not the Kellum site, I'm talking to partridges. Fucking ignorant bastards, never talk back to you. I always remember at the Arboretum, they put me on cleaning the toilets. And I thought, fuck that. So I cleaned one. One of them was full up with shit, to the brim of shit. And I thought, there's no way I'm touching that fucker. No way. Big birds. And I left it for the bloke the day after. I cleaned the rest, but I left it for the bloke the day after. And apparently there's a wallet been shoved in the toilet. And then obviously people have been shitting on the top of the wallet. It's a disgusting world out there. Oh. If you'd seen some of the stuff I've seen in 20 odd years of working at public parks, oh dear, oh dear. Much worse than I've seen ever at home, you know, some of the stuff. Murderers. People chopped up in graves across the road in the cemetery. Oh, all good fun though. Flashers. Blokes threatening women with screwdrivers. Yeah. I mean, we had these two blokes on the park one day. Park's full of people, and some of the local, there were some black blokes that we knew on one side of the park. I know them, they're fucking sound. These two big blokes come walking up. One says to me, "Can I drink some of your water?" Quite aggressively, and I says, "It's pumped from the pond, mate." And he says, "I don't give a shit." Starts drinking it. I thought, oh, okay, and then he shouts at these black, you know, gave him some stick. You know, racial stick as well. And all the black blokes sat on the grass and didn't move. And I thought, now usually you start saying that in a public park, you're gonna get some fisticuffs. And they all sat still, didn't do it. And I thought, hold on a minute. They obviously know that this bloke's tasty. And apparently he was a murderer. Murdered somebody in St. Anne's. Proper cunt as well. But yeah. It's a strange old world. These days I don't see anyone. Yeah. Nottingham. So yeah, some sort of Nottingham accent. Although I hate my own voice. And surely with other beer reviewers out there, you know, when you listen to your own voice, do you think, God, I sound awful? You know, I listen to my voice backwards and I think, I sound so gay. And yeah. I like quiet, yeah, these days, yeah. And, you know, going into work every day, having hassle every single day, you just don't want it, do you? You know, there's only so much hassle in life you can stand. I mean, just about a year and a half ago, I moved to the job that I was in, not the job I'm in now, but the job I was in, thinking it was going to be a great job. It turned out to be the worst job ever, with the worst person ever. You know, I've never come across a personality like it. And, yeah, nice to get away from that. Right, but in the review, I'm absolutely bursting for a win. I've been rattling on far too long, taking up your valuable Sunday time. Good evening. So, I forgot the name of it now. Freedom Vortex WCIPA. Citra Centennial Columbus hops. 7.2%. I've got a pork joint in the oven now. Little pork joint. Got some nice pork gravy. We're going to have a few fries with it as well. Nothing, you know, just basics really. Very cloudy pour. Massive hoppy aroma on the nose. Really hoppy, strong. Piney in the extreme. If you've had Stones go to IPA, you'll know all about the intense hoppiness. I would say it's just a fraction lower than that, only a fraction though. But it's very pleasant. It's funny because I was looking at that, I've been editing reviews all day from 2 years ago. This was from Low Cost Beer, this was. In the JMO, no, it's cooking in the oven. And 7.2%. But to be honest, you know, your taste buds change over the years. What 2 years ago was intensely hoppy and too piney for me, nowadays, how your palate gets changed. And nowadays, I actually find that really nice, by the fact it gave me a bit of an headache. 7.2% good strength. Out of 5 for me, probably about a 4.4. I'm not really a massive piney fan, but I do appreciate it's a good beer, good strength. And Low Cost, again, you look on their page today, and I swear there's so many new beers, or Broadside. Oh, to say that's an old beer, now this is where some of the older beers are still very, very relevant. Broadside, drunk at room temperature, and get all them complexities in the taste. It's absolutely as good as most of the craft stuff out there, because whoever made it years ago, that what you get from Broadside, I mean, I only discovered it about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and I'd never had it before, and then I had it and I'm like, fucking hell, this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I still think King Goblin's probably one of the very, very best, but yeah, Broadside. Although with some of the stuff that Vocation seems to be doing, 4.5%. Yeah, I'm not keen on this low strength stuff. That may last tonight. Well, until later, and if I can't go to sleep, then come down for a quick snifter down the shed. A little drop of whiskey or something just to help me sleep. Then again, I did that last night. I had 2 pints, went up the house, did a load of work on the internet. And then come down here, took 1.5 litre of American oak aged rum up the house, drank that. Then came down and had a glass like that of chocolate rum. Woof. Slept like a baby after that, funnily enough. Yeah. Yes, one of these days I'll learn not to drink too much in a day. Yeah. Keep saying it every day. Good evening. Love and hate Vocation. Love Vocation again. If there's one good thing about Asda, I've got a lot of website work to do and editing bloody YouTube videos from the beginning. Because at the beginning, I didn't put hashtags. I didn't put about check out my Facebook and all that other page thing, rubbish. And I didn't put descriptions. And I like all that. And I want them to get all the breweries together, because I don't want to. You know, when you review a beer, you think, have I bought that beer before? And you look and you think, I can't fucking remember. Nowadays, I can remember. Good evening. I'm just at the end of this review, to be honest, but I reviewed this earlier from Navigation, Orange and Nutmeg Eclipse, 4.1%, but it's a stout, and it was absolutely amazing. No, I don't. I'm going to piss myself in a sec. And the dinner's nearly cooked, and I need to cook the ass. Yeah, I did actually say that about like and subscribing on my other comment, on my other video earlier. Yeah, that was an amazing beer. If you ever get to drink it, because obviously Nottingham Brewery, whether you'll get it in a local pub, a local beer shop, you know, or deliveries, that's another thing. But we're lucky because obviously we've got Adventure Beer, which do deliveries all the way around Nottingham, and he lives about a mile away from me in Sherwood. So it's great for me because it just nips down, drops me a beer off. I need to knock one off in the house. I need a wee. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining and commenting. Been a good one again. And I'll see you all tomorrow about 6 o'clock-ish or earlier, depending on if the wife goes for a run. See you later. Cheers. Turn it off now, isn't it? Cheers.